The Chicago Bears have started the 2023 season off with an 0-2 record and have so far disappointed the entire Bears fan base after the expectations set for the team were high this offseason. The Bears finished with the worst record in the NFL in 2022 with a 3-14 record and landed the #1 overall draft pick. And with that pick, they traded it to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for a plethora of draft picks and wide receiver DJ Moore, who had been hyped up as Justin Fields' go-to wideout all offseason. They drafted Darnell Wright 10th overall and signed Nate Davis in free agency to help protect Justin Fields. They gave Cole Kmet a contract extension and brought in running backs D'Onta Foreman and Rashawn Johnson to pair with Khalil Herbert. They upgraded many of the vacancies on their defense with the signings of Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards. On top of that, the Bears drafted Gervin Dexter and Zach Pickens in the second round of this year's draft to version up the defensive front. No, the team was not perfect by any means, but there was a lot of hype and buzz around the Bears after the splashy moves they had this offseason. Many NFL analysts even dubbed the Bears one of the best offseasons among all of the other NFL franchises. So after sticking with Fields as their guy and opting to move on from drafting players like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud, the Bears have more and more questions about the state of the franchise and their quarterback moving forward after a beyond disappointing 0-2 start. Week 1 was long awaited by many Bears fans, as it is by many fans all year long. But this offseason had to have felt different for Bears fans, as with the schedule release, they found out they were playing their longtime rival, Green Bay Packers, to start off the season. The difference between this season and the past 16 years of quarterback play in Green Bay is that 2023 was the first year that Aaron Rodgers was not the starting quarterback for the team. This is since 2007, after he was traded to the Jets this past offseason. The Packers decided to go with Jordan Love as their guy moving forward, and the stage was set. Justin Fields, Jordan Love, Week 1, home field advantage, America's Game of the Week on national TV, longtime rivals. Many analysts were predicting that the Bears actually had the advantage in the game for the first time in a very long time. 2023 is Justin Fields' prove-it year, and it's possible that if the front office doesn't think he's the guy, they could move on from him. After a tumultuous run with Matt Nagy in 2021 as a rookie and a lack of weapons and consistency in 2022, 2023 is the year for Fields to really prove himself. So in Week 1, the Bears and Packers faced off. The Packers got off to an early 10-3 lead, and the game remained close, 10-6 at halftime. Justin Fields and Jordan Love both made flashes and mistakes early on, but the game was still too close to make an assumption. In the first half, the Bears kept seeming to revert to a screen pass play that obviously wasn't working, because if it had, the Bears would have converted on more third downs and scored more touchdowns. But it seems OC Luke Getsy is really invested in that strategy in his playbook. The first half of the game, the Bears defense didn't get a takeaway and was holding Aaron Jones back a little and was playing well for the most part, but come the second half, the Bears offense continued to fail to make any real progress and put the defense back on the field, tiring them out and giving the Packers new chances to score on that Bears defense. In the second half, Aaron Jones exploded and exposed much of the Bears' defensive backs with his quick bursts of speed and difficulty in tackling. On top of that, Jordan Love threw for 2 more touchdown passes to bring his total to 3 on the day, while the Bears' offense only scored 2 touchdowns the entire game, one being a Fields pass to Darnell Mooney and another being a rushing touchdown for Rashawn Johnson. The Bears' defense did well until they completely got ran over by the Packers' run game. And I can't blame them too much when the offense couldn't keep a drive going for what seemed more than just a few minutes. Every time the Bears had a glimmer of hope, one mistake would turn into a positive play for the Packers. We know Justin Fields is a great running quarterback, but the Bears' offensive scheme was going to limit his running this year as a means of keeping him protected and on the field. Down 24-6 with about 5 minutes left in the third quarter, still with a chance to at least get within 2 scores, Justin Fields and the Bears' offense faced a 3rd and 3. And on the ensuing play, the Bears' offensive line gave up pressure in his face and forced Fields to run for it. With 3 Packers behind him, one put his arm in and forced Fields to fumble the ball away to the defense. A perfect example of what should have been a first down turned into a positive play for the Packers. And the same thing happening later in the game, but on a 3rd and long. Thankfully, they didn't call a screen play, but Fields threw the ball up the field and gets picked off by Key Walker for a touchdown. A simple mistake that should not have happened on that play happened and hurt the Bears' chance of winning even more. So many times the Bears had an opportunity to attack the field vertically, and they failed to really open up the playbook that way. The expectation is that DJ Moore would get at least 10 targets in the game, but he only got 2. Granted, Jair Alexander did lock him up pretty well. You still have to game plan around that and come up with better results for that rather than excuses. And the defense held up pretty well for the most part, but had the Bears' offense connected on more of the opportunities, we may not even be talking about this. The Bears actually had the time of possession for a little bit longer than the Packers, but still failed on the opportunities. The Packers won the turnover battle, and had the Bears flipped the script on that, we likely would have had a closer game instead of the 38-20 loss the Bears faced. Of course, we can only make so many excuses for the Bears and the play calling. After a disappointing week 1, week 2 against the Buccaneers was looked at a lot more skeptically than before. At first, the mindset was that we could beat the Packers, but after the showing in week 1, no one really knew. Some Bears fans thought that the game was just a fluke and they'd be better because of what they learned in week 1. Others were still skeptical of the play calling. No matter which way Bears fans approached the game, the result they got wasn't what they were looking for. We'll give credits to the Bears defense again. No, it wasn't perfect, but allowing only 20 points to the Buccaneers isn't the worst thing either, especially when the unit is coming off being one of the worst units in the league last year. They made Mike Evans look good, but I think we already know Mike Evans is a good receiver, and the Bucs should pay him a new contract as he deserves it. They were able to stop Baker and the Bucs on some key plays to keep the Bears in the game all game long. The Bears actually scored the first touchdown of the game after an efficient drive led the Bears downfield, and Justin Fields ran it in for an easy rushing touchdown. The Bucs would strike back with Rachaad White's touchdown, and a pair of field goals kept the game close, 13-10 in favor of Tampa Bay at the half. But for the Bears, the same thing as week 1 against the Packers, they missed key opportunities to get the ball downfield and punted away downfield more times than what should have been. The third quarter came, and it's still an influx of poor play calls and a lack of connecting on key plays prevented the Bears from making it to the end zone or even scoring a field goal. Still though, the Bears defense compensated for the lack of delivery from the offense. Come halfway through the fourth quarter, the Bears offense was given another shot to narrow the gap, and it started with a 3rd and 10 pass play up the middle to DJ Moore, which was good for the first down and more, and got the Bears into the Bucs territory. Come a few plays later, Field tossed up a 20-yard touchdown to Chase Claypool down the field to bring them within 3. Fields is rated as one of the best deep ball passers in the league, and while 20 yards isn't that deep in NFL terms, it's still more than the basic short or middle length routes the Bears have been running. The Bears got the ball back with about 2 minutes to play. Now with the chance to score and possibly win the game, or at least tie. Deep in their own territory, the Bears offense cooked up a play. And on the field, guess what it was? Another screen pass. And on the next play, they ran the exact same thing on the same side of the field. Fields tossed the ball up and it was picked off by Shaq Barrett, who ran it back a few yards for a score to drain the Bears' chances of winning. In what was a close game, the Bears offense struggled from a lack of connecting on key plays and inconsistent play calling. The 27-17 loss puts the Bears at 0-2 on the year so far and has many Bears fans losing hope in the team already, the play calling, and Justin Fields. Yes, it's still early on in the season, so maybe we'll eat our words later, and for the sake of all Bears fans out there, we hope they do. because watching Bears football is such a hard thing to do as a fan of the team. Maybe we're being too harsh and things will start clicking for the Bears later in the season when it matters, but for now, the play calling and coaching seems to need a lot of adjustment. Justin Fields is a running quarterback and a deep ball passer. Give him shots downfield and get more of your players involved. Stop running so many screenplays, especially on third down when it's so predictable. The Bears have 15 more games on the year to prove us wrong, and there still is time. But for now, the Chicago Bears franchise seems to be in major trouble.